What's up everyone, Art at Patience Metal Fab, and I want to show you a car that might be confusing to some. If you saw our last video, you saw we were doing some brake upgrades on a C8 Corvette. Well, there is one right here, but as you can tell, it's a totally different color. The other one was gray, this one's orange. No, we didn't repaint it. This is actually another C8 Corvette that came in as soon as the first one left. So if you recall in that video, that C8 Corvette got a brake upgrade. So it got AP Racing calipers, rotors, SX components, lines, pads, pretty much everything to make it handle, stop better on the racetrack. Now this one you could think of as the first build, but on steroids, because not only do we already equip the fronts, but we're actually going to be doing the rears. So these OE calipers are coming off, and we are going to be putting this set of AP Racing calipers in their place. In addition to, we're also going to be doing a carbon fiber track spoiler, and then on the inside, there's going to be a custom Patience Metal Fab roll bar. So we've got a lot going on with this car to make it kind of an effective track weapon. You guys wait till you see the slicks on this thing. They are super imposing, they're huge. And I'm really hoping by the time all is said and done and we wrap up with this, we can actually take it to the track and have the owner maybe give us a little bit of a ride along and get some footage for you guys, because this is going to be one special car. I'm in bright and early this morning, and looks like Gary stayed a little bit late and finished these rear brakes, both the passenger and driver's side. It looks awesome, and now the entire car is equipped with AP calipers and everything that goes along with it. So now next step is to bleed the whole system. We've got the typical brake bleeder hooked up, but what's not typical, because this is such a new age car, is we actually have to adjust some of the electronics in order to make it all work. So Gary's got a laptop hooked up here. What exactly are you doing here?
So in order to bleed the brakes on this car, you actually have to deactivate the booster system on the car initially, then mechanically bleed them, and then when it's done, you have to have the ability to run the car through an automated brake bleed, which just allows the ABS system to get any air out of the secondary channels that are in it. You can do it with some of the brand new Snap-on scan tools, or we just use the factory GM GDS software for it.
So in other words, if you have one of these in your garage and you're trying to change out the brakes, you can get to this point, but unless you have the right electronic equipment, you might be stuck, and maybe you'd have to trailer the car to a shop like ours where we do have the equipment. We've invested in that. It's kind of another reason that customers come straight to us, drop the car off, order the parts here, or we order them, and then we throw it all together and give them a running, driving, braking car at the end of it.
Absolutely. That's it. Now we disconnect the battery, bleed the brakes, and then we'll jump back in here and we're done and run it through its automated system.
That was way easier than I thought it was going to be. There was about, what, 5 seconds to turn it off, but $3,500 to do it?
That's exactly right.
Time to put the wheels on the Vette, so he's got one of the rears. We'll see how it fits with these big brakes. Perfect. That's exactly what we want. Actually, just kidding. That is not the wheel we're putting on. This is the wheel that we're putting on. One of the biggest, widest slicks I've ever seen. That little wheel is actually the old one off of that GTI that we're working on. It's getting some BBSs, much larger and nicer than this. But this is a 205 45/16, just to give you a little bit of perspective on how big the factory Vette tire wheel is, and then also the aftermarket with the slick. So teeny tiny. Then we move up to here. What's the size on that one?
This is a 305/30. Yep.
And a 20-inch.
Yep. And then here we go, 335/25.
So what, about an inch wider than this?
Yep. And more sidewall.
And a lot less tread.
Yep.
Someone like me has never ran a slick on their car. Usually I make my treaded tires into slicks by doing burnouts and drifts. But why would somebody start with a slick first?
So your factory tire works great in typical road conditions. Slick is a no-holds-barred performance tire. You get a car like this on the track, you're gonna quickly outperform this tire. I mean, you can see what the customer has done just from running this car on the track. You can see it starting to ball up. I mean, he's pushed it with this, but he won't get anywhere near the performance out of this tire as he will with this. So you guys obviously can't feel this, but the weight difference is another huge aspect of these. These wheels weigh almost 10 pounds less between wheel and tire than that package. That's 40 pounds for wheels and tires. Add up to 26 pounds between the front and rear axle of the brake. That's almost 70 pounds of unsprung weight off this car. It's all in the evolution of making it a track car.
I thought this car looked awesome when it came in, but with the changes that we've made, it's on a completely different level. It really does feel track prepped now. Those giant slicks, the brakes, and then the Veris wing that we just put on have totally changed the look and the functionality of it as well. That's not something we can test out here. We're gonna go for a drive right now just to make sure all the brakes and things are good. But eventually this will see track time, actually in a couple of days. So that's why we had to hurry up and get this thing done. We're gonna go grab some rollers, show you how beautiful this thing is driving down the street, and then we'll wrap it up for today's session. After that track day, it's gonna be back and we're gonna be hitting some of that custom work on the inside like I mentioned. So that's an episode you're definitely gonna wanna stick around for. But thank you for sticking around with this one. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We've got plenty more of this type of exciting content to come, especially on this car. It'll be back several times. Thank you for tuning in and we'll see you in the next one.